Louisiana Country Boy coming at you live once more again. Also, what I need for you to do, sit back, relax, put on your headgear. All my worthless 2 cents is about to put something in your ear.
Oh, and here we go. Oh, you hits me. I know y'all probably can't see me. I don't know if you can or can't. It's me. It's your boy, the Louisiana Country Boy, coming at you live once more again here on a Tuesday. And it is time. It is time for another edition of Talk to Me Tuesday, along with my normal co-host, Minister CJ. However, Minister CJ had a family emergency, so he is not going to be joining tonight. I did ask someone to step in for tonight. I don't know what's going on with my co-host just stepping in. My feelings co-host that's in there tonight. But however, I have a wonderful co-host that is joining tonight on Talk to Me Tuesday here on my Worthless 2 Cents Table Talk as we get this thing started. If y'all don't know, every Tuesday is what we have right here. Thank you once more again, Kingdom Purpose, for allowing this old boy to grace your platform. It is an honor, it is a privilege, and I pray that I do each and every one of you proud. I pray that I do the good Lord proud by delivering what I'm supposed to deliver unto y'all. Allow me to be the vessel. That's all I want to do is be the vessel. Get out of the way of the message. Just be the vessel. I'm just delivering. I'm just the mailman. Y'all can't be mad at what come in the package. I'm just the mailman. So as I move forward tonight, wait a minute. I have to allow my unseen special guest who's joining me tonight to introduce themselves. I'm sorry. Y'all know I get carried away. Go ahead, Spencer. Oh, wait a minute. Can you see me?
Okay. Am I on?
You are on. I hear you loud and clear. Your voice is loud and clear.
Okay, I'm Latanza.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. Something else popped over there. Wait a minute. Did you switch them?
Yeah, it finally got me on.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do this one and I'm gonna do that one. There you go. There she is. That is my special guest co-host for tonight. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish introducing yourself. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Look, I got sound on one and picture on the other one. Hold on here. Wait a minute. Let's see here. All right, let's try it now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I don't know which one I hear you. I got you on all of them. Go ahead. You got sound and picture.
I'm Latanza, and I'm the founder of God's Masterpiece, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, it is an honor. It is an honor. I, along with Kingdom Purpose, say thank you for the short notice. Thank you for accepting the invitation and filling in for my co-host, Minister CJ, tonight. And as I gave you a little bit of the deal for tonight, as we sit here, and I always tell CJ whenever it comes up, I say, Lord, he done sent it Heaven Express. Well, y'all, he sent one Heaven Express again today. And the message or the topic for tonight, he sent me today. He sent me to Mark. And he sent me to Mark chapter 5. And he said, I'm going to just narrow that thing down. So he sent me to Mark chapter 5, verse 8. And I'm gonna just give y'all a little bit of this, and I'm gonna let my guest give her thoughts on this thing. The background of this is simply this: is Jesus had went across the water. If y'all hear me, he went across the water. He had, got in the boat and went across that thing, and he got to the other side. And when he got to the other side, there was this fella. This fella had lived in the tombs. Okay, this fella had been living in the tomb, had been chained up, had been cutting himself, had been screaming, had been hollering, had been doing all types of things, and nobody wanted to be around, and nobody wanted to deal with this fella at all. But when this fella saw Jesus, he commenced to running and fell down. And when Jesus spoke to him, the words that he said to him was, "Come out of him. Come out of him, you unclean spirit." And that thing just jumped up and down on me with everything that's going on and all the things that I see in the world today. He said to me, and I say he said to me, he didn't tell me to tell y'all, he said to me. So I'm relaying what he said to me. He said to me, what is it? What is it that I need to bring out of you? So I'm taking that same thing, and the question for tonight, I got this new thing, Tom's. You know what it's called?
What?
It's called a mirror check. So I got this new thing. It's called a mirror check. So tonight the question is a mirror check. And the mirror check says, what is it that God needs to bring out of you? That's a major thing, because some of us, and I have to point at self, have to do these mirror checks and evaluate ourselves and look and say, well, I gotta, because some of us walk around like we ain't got nothing in us. Some of us walk around like we are just as clear as the driven snow. Some of us walk around like we ain't got nothing that needs to come out of us. But some of us realizes there are some things. One, and I thought about this just a little while ago, there are some things that we have in us that the only way they can come out is that we take it to God. There are some things we think that we can get out of us. There are some things that we think that we can deal with. But just like that man that had been sitting up there in them tombs, cutting and screaming and beating and tearing himself up, there are some of us be tearing ourselves up because we trying to get out of us that thing that only God can call out. But that requires, first of all, having a mirror check and looking at ourselves and looking and saying, that's some stuff in me, and holding myself accountable for the stuff. I'm not saying that the stuff that's in us, we put it in us, because sometimes we can be around something, you know what they talk about, you can be around a sewer for so long and you begin to smell like it. I'm just saying sometimes we can be around some things and those things get on us. We can be around people that smoke and we don't smoke and it can get in our clothes. So I'm not saying everything that's on us, we put on us. Sometimes it's because of the surroundings, but we then have to be accountable for what that thing is and say, not only is it on me, God, can you bring it out of me? Because I done tried it. My way ain't working. The things I try to do to bring it out, because I'm sitting up here screaming and hollering and yelling and cutting myself and all of this. But can you bring it out of me? Can I humble myself to understand that, what is that song? This battle is not ours, it's the Lord's. When are we going to do the self-check? When are we going to do the mirror check? What is it that we have that God needs to bring out of us? Is it hatred? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it strife? What is it that we need to say, God, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Just like that fella. I'm coming here and I'm just laying it down. I'm laying it down. Here I am. you know, even when I thought about that, bringing things out of us, even when when Jesus' best friend Lazarus passed, he went to the grave and he said, Lazarus, come out. See, sometimes that thing that we in, we got to get some assistance to come out of it. Because without the words being spoken, Lazarus would have still been in the grave. Without him coming and us admitting where we are, those things that we've been battling, those things that we've been trying, what they call them, the demons we've been fighting. Sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the time, that's the thing. First, we have to admit, and humble ourselves. And sometimes we just got to lay prostrate and say, I can't because my way ain't been working. I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, just so happens this morning, God had me to read Over There. And it was talking about the boy his father was crying out to Jesus saying, get this out of my son. He's possessed. He was having seizures. And Jesus asked him, how long has he had? And how long has it been? Because it's something about calling something out. It has to be believed that you will have it come out, because they couldn't get it out. There are some things the disciples tried to do that they couldn't do because they didn't believe. So Jesus was like, how long has it been like this? And he saw the crowd coming. He said, come on out of here. And so at the name of Jesus, it has to obey. When I was going through my little stuff, it's one thing about you talking about the mirror. A lot of times we're pointing a finger at somebody else, but never allowing ourselves to be pointed at the finger. Because a lot of times we don't see anything wrong with us. We think that we're okay until God shows you that you're not. If you want to know what needs to come out, you need to spend time with God. He will tell you. Believe me, he will tell you. And it was, for me, it was a process time for me when he was getting some things out of me that needed to come out. And sometimes those things that come out have been there since your childhood. And it just lay dormant. It was just there. And you didn't even know why you act a certain way when you got older. You didn't know why you had to have this or why you were drawn to this. It was something that happened in your childhood you never dealt with. Or you didn't know how to deal with it. Or you put it out your mind because you didn't want to deal with it.
Yes.
It's a lot of things that we have in us that we forgot about because we just didn't want to deal with it. It's a lot of things I just did not want to deal with. But it came a day that God said, we got to get all this out. Because if you keep it in you, if I know for me, I won't talk about myself. So if I would have kept it in me, I couldn't have gotten to the place that God wanted me to get to. And it would have hindered me. And, that's why you have to look at yourself.
Yes.
And not somebody else. You can't fix somebody else, but you can fix yourself with the word, with prayer, with Jesus, with those things. Because a self cannot heal self.
Yes.
If that was the case, we wouldn't need Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit. We wouldn't need that. But we have to depend and trust on God to deliver us from whatever it is that tried to hold us bondage. And I was reading about Paul and Silas when they were locked in jail. It's one thing about it is they were locked up, but they kept believing God. When they started singing his praises, when God says to give thanks and everything, that's what they were doing. And all of a sudden, the chains were loose and the doors were open. Something came out.
Yes.
And the only way that they could go out is that they had to go in. They had to go into his.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I lost your volume. Hold on. Can you hear me? Hold on. Let me see if I can get your volume back. I done lost your volume. I can't hear you. Let's see here. Hold on, y'all. We got some microphone. Y'all hold on just a second. And she'll be right back. And that is so true. I love what she just said. In order to get out, we have to go in. We have to go back into that thing. We have to, I say it so much, and I speak for myself because that was one of the things. And when I started this journey, it was called unlocking the power within, which meant I had to go in. I had to go back to unlock what was inside. See, when God calls that thing out, this is wow. When he calls that thing out of us, when he says that unclean thing comes out, see what has happened is that I gotta regurgitate the bad so I can feel better. Have you ever been sick and it was something you felt like it was just sitting? If I could get this stuff off the top, because there's some good stuff on the bottom, but the good stuff can't come through. It can't come through because all this stuff is on top. See, underneath, wow, underneath that anger, underneath that hate, underneath that mean, nasty attitude. See, underneath that is what God placed in us. There's some good underneath it. But we have to be accountable and responsible for getting that stuff out. We have to say, like, God, I don't want this. No, oh, I don't want this. I don't want this. And we have to know and we have to surrender. We have to surrender our will. We have to surrender our way. Just like that fella, Cain, commenced to running to Jesus because he was tired. What they say when you know when you're tired, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. He got sick and tired of cutting himself. He got sick and tired of beating himself. He got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And he came to a point where he was like, ain't none of this stuff I'm doing. Ain't none of this stuff I'm doing making me no better. Ain't none of this stuff. All right, you back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What were you saying? I don't even know what you.
I was just going on with that is what you said about the simple fact that you got to go back to come out. Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of like it's the slingshot method. Sometimes God stretches up like the old bow and arrow. You know, it pulls it back it has to pull back in order to shoot further. The further you pull that thing back, the more you discover how high you can fly. Some people don't want to go back. And I get that. I get that. Ooh,
No,
Lord.
because back is a reminder of where you came from.
Yes.
And back there is pain. Back there is all that stuff. So that's why a lot of people try to escape it without getting healed from it. It's kind of, you have to go through a process. It's kind of like the diamond process,
Yes.
purification. Some things have to
Yes.
be burnt off, crushed off, and it don't feel good sometimes that you have to revisit, and you have to revisit where you came from. You have to revisit what this person did to you. You have to revisit what happened to you as a child. Sometimes the revisitation is a closed door. It closes that door. But if you don't revisit it, you're always gonna have that lingering on
Yes.
you. And you know, a little thing could trigger. You have triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So I know somebody, she didn't realize something that she wasn't healed from until she got a trigger. And it was her husband put some orange juice in the refrigerator. And he put her name on it and said, "This is mommy's." That's it. That's all he did, you know, as a gesture saying, "I got this for her. Don't, you know, don't touch it." And she broke it down and cried because it
Mm.
triggered something in her from her childhood that she couldn't have anything in the refrigerator from her dad.
Mm.
And that triggered that for her. And so he got on it. He was like, "Okay, this is something you need to get healed from. Let's pray." And they dealt with it and she got rid of it. So sometimes if you don't get rid of it and it's hidden inside, it's going to trigger. And
Yes.
something's going to trigger it. So I can tell anybody, God will
And
empty you out to fill you up. So
hey, and that is, and you're so right, is you have to, but first you have to acknowledge it.
right, you have to acknowledge, but what if you don't even know that it's there? You know, and that I believe, you know, that's why when I pray, and that's something people can do when they pray, "God, if it's something in me that needs to come out,
Mm.
reveal it to me."
Mm.
You know, that's what I pray. "Lord, is there anything in my heart that's not right? Is there anything in me that needs to come out? Because I want to please you and I want to be the best version of myself for somebody else." So if you pray that, God's going to show you.
And you know, on a hilarious note of that, some people ain't finna pray that prayer because I don't want to know what it is. If it,
Right. A lot of people not going to, a lot of people, it's kind of like this. A person that might have something going on in their body. They might have a limp. They might have, you know, something, whatever. I have seen people that were invited to, you know, go to a church where they were having, you know, a healing service or something like that. They would not go. Why? Sometimes you like the attention
mm,
of where you were hurt from because
mm,
you get
wow,
you get that sympathy, you get that empathy, and so when you don't have it anymore, then it's like you don't have that crutch anymore. So you know, a lot of people hold on to stuff just to hold on to it, or
yes,
this is why I'm mad. They want to stay mad for the rest of their life. They did this to me, and I'm gonna stay angry at them. Da 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 da. I saw a story. This man, his son was killed. I don't know if I can say that on here. Pew pew. And he held on to that hurt, and you know it was an officer of the law that did it. And so what did he do? The last week, I believe he followed the man that did it. He followed his daughter to her graduation, and pew pewed her.
mm,
She's no longer here. So if you don't get healed from something, the enemy will torment your mind,
yes,
and you'll act on the very thing that hurts you.
yes,
So
yes,
you have to get healed from that. I'm telling people, I had to get healed from what hurt me. I had to. It wasn't a maybe. It wasn't I do it tomorrow. I had to make a decision that I was going to get healed from, because if I didn't, it was going to take over me.
yes.
And a lot of times we're allowing things and situations to take over our lives because we're not letting it go.
And
And that's
that is, and the only way, again, for me, you let go by doing the one thing, the hardest thing it is for any of us to do, is submit and surrender.
submit, surrender, and forgive.
those are the most difficult things.
It is. And the hardest person to forgive is self.
Yes, 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 yes. That is so it. When you talk about those things again, in my mind right now, I just see that scripture just keeps popping up, and I can just see that man, what you're talking about, tormenting himself and torment and all the things that we do to ourselves now, right here today. No, we may not be in a tomb like he was in, but we are in tombs.
Right.
We may not be cutting ourselves with rocks,
Paying yourself for razors.
but we're cutting ourselves with razors, or we're out here doing all these things because what we think that we're doing, what we think that we're doing is getting to the pain. We're trying to, we think that thing, and we're not even touching it, is because that thing that's within us, it has to, all of that's not going to stop the pain.
No, it's not. It's gonna add to it.
Yes, yes, yes. And that is today we to take that and see how it has transformed into the lives today, into our lives today, the things that we do, the things that are tormenting us. What is it? What is it? Mirror check. What is it that God needs to bring out of me? Country boy. And again, it's just for me. What is it? And that thing that you said is asking, when you say that prayer, show me. Show me what it is. Show me me. Show me me. Not how I see me, but show me me. Show me me that you see me. Show me this area and show me. And so many of us don't want to see it. We don't want to ask the prayer because, again, we want to leave that thing laying dormant. But let me tell you, this is what I feel. No matter how you may think that you can put a cover over it. Here's the picture that just came to my mind. If you visualize this, there's a ground, wonderful ground, the earth, beautiful earth, right? But what you've done is you've taken some artificial grass and put it over it, right? Now what you've done is you've got some dirt and you put on top of that, and you plant a flower, or you want to plant something, but you want it to grow, and it can't because it can't get through the artificial surface you put down. It can't grow. The goodness in us can't grow because there's this cover that's covering it. And that's that thing. That's the thing. Come out. What is that cover? Come out. What is he trying to bring out? What is he trying to pull back that we are so holding on to not be revealed? What is that thing? And then it's like the major question: why are we so afraid to let that thing go? Why are we afraid to let it go? Why are we afraid to release that thing? Why have we placed so much energy into keeping that's keeping us from being all that we've been called to be? What is it? What is the thing that God needs to bring out of us? I'm sorry, ma'am, go ahead.
Well, I mean, a lot of things could be keeping you, so you just have to let it go. And sometimes it's hard to let something go, even if it's bad for you, even if it keeps you in bondage, even if you know that it's hurting you. Sometimes the very thing that's hurting you is hard to let go. And people don't understand that at all. I didn't understand that until I had to understand it, until I went through it. So, a lot of people can't understand other people's situations or their mindset. That's another thing, your mindset.
Yes.
Romans 12, it tells us to renew our mind and transform it by the renewing of your mind. But you have to do that every day. That's a daily thing.
Yes.
Just
yes.
like asking God to forgive you. That's a daily thing because we do something every day.
Right.
I don't care if it's a thought. I want to go run somebody. Just ask God to forgive you.
Yes.
Ask God to heal you. Like I said, you cannot make anybody do anything. You can't force them to do anything. That's the greatness of God, that He gives us free will.
Yes.
He gives us choice. God can point out everything that's wrong with you. And we'll be like, but God, you know what they did? Instead of dealing with it.
Yes.
We always want to point the direction the other way. But God, this is why I do it, because of this. God ain't having that though. God loves us in sin and out of sin.
Yes.
He loves us regardless. But He is not going to take you in if you're not doing what you need to do. You cannot hold unforgiveness in your heart. That's one thing that people need to let go, to forgive somebody. Because if you hold unforgiveness, God can't forgive you.
Right.
So, it's just a lot with letting go. It's easier said than done, but is it possible? Yes. Because the scripture tells us that nothing is impossible with God. A lot of times we're trying to do it on our own, in our own way. And we mess up every time because all we're doing is making it bigger and worse. So when you just sit down and say, God, you know what? I can't do this. That's all God waiting on.
Right.
I can't do this, God, on my own. This thing is hurting me. I don't want to do this no more. I just want it off of me. Help me. And that's all it takes.
That's the surrendering. That is the complete surrendering. Again, just back to that is when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, when you've reached that point that you feel that when I have exhausted everything on this side. And when you can go and you know that you take it to God and there ain't no judgment, there ain't no let me point the finger, and you don't come to Him. See, and when you were saying that, I was thinking this. When that man came, he didn't come and say, well, look, Jesus, you know that them folks over there they've been talking about me. Them folks over there, he came and just laid himself. What she just said, he wasn't pointing the finger at nobody else. We sometimes want to say and blame others and say it was this person, that person, this person, that person. But Lord, just show me me. Show me me. Show me me. Show me that thing in me. Take this thing out of me. Take this anger out of me. Take this unforgiveness out of me. Take this spirit of hatred out of me. Take this spirit of jealousy out of me. We have to be willing to say to Him openly and honestly, take this thing. Remove this thing from me. Remove it from me. Because I don't want to be this way. I want to be all that you have called me to be. And I can't be all that you've called me to be when I'm still trying to possess all the things of the world that's stopping me from being what you've called me to be. Remove this thing. Remove this thing. And I do get it. Trust me, I get it. The going back and the discovering and the seeing what this thing is, because everything develops from something else. It didn't just happen. It didn't just happen. But going back and looking at that thing in the face and closing that door and coming face to face with whatever it may be in order to move to the level that God wants us in. Because sometimes these things of this world can keep us tied to the things of this world. And we're tied to them, when all we got to do is step up out of them. Just step out. Just surrender, submit, and forgive. Sometimes it takes just laying prostrate. I don't know what to do. What do you do when you don't know what to do? You just do like that man. You just lay there and you fall to your knees. And then hear the words. Come out, you unclean spirit. Come out. But unfortunately, like Latanza said, sometimes people get comfortable in their afflictions. Sometimes it's the attention of the affliction that they don't want to be healed. Sometimes people would rather lay at the pool of Bethesda and blame it on everybody else. Blame it on each and every person on why they can't get in the water. Some people like the attention. Some people like to go around and be hurt and be angry, because that's their crutch. And that's how they gain their sympathy. And that's how they gain these things. But when you get tired of being sick and tired, when you get tired of it, you just say, oh, Lord, take this thing. Take this thing away from me. Take it away from me. And that's how you do it. Each and every one of us, I know it's not an easy. I don't sit here like, oh, well, it's just as easy. It ain't easy. It's a process. It's a process. But it's a process that's worth it. It's a process that is worth it. To be healed, to be whole, just like that man, just like that woman with the issue of blood. To be healed and to be whole. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Oh, I got another guess.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been running back and forth, so I didn't hear everything you said, but it is a process, and you have to. First of all, you have to be willing to go through the process.
Yes.
An unwilling participant is not a good thing. Because once God start taking you through it, it's gonna be some turbulence. But it's one thing about turbulence, it'll soon smooth over.
Yes.
And you're gonna hit some rough spots. You're gonna, recall some things. You have all kind of level of emotions when God is pulling things out of you. You might be angry, you might cry, You might say why. You know, you're going to go through all these emotions, but it's part of your process.
Right.
And I can tell people, you're going to make it through it, and you're going to be the better person for it. You are.
And that is you're so correct. And I don't tell anyone that it's easy. I don't tell anyone, but what I will say on the flip side, that it is worth it. It is worth it because you can never walk in your purpose that you were called to until you get those things out.
Oh, and it'll hinder your purpose. It'll pollute your purpose.
Mm.
You bring pollution up in there, you know, because I've seen where people aren't healed, or it, you know, this promiscuity or something needs to come out, and they're still trying to do that and walk in their purpose and serve God, and it just collides because God wants you to be healed from it, because you cannot do His will while still doing that.
Mm.
You know, you're gonna have a collision.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I had to get a whole lot of stuff out. You know, I wasn't this horrible person or nothing, but still, it was things from my childhood. It was things from my past relationships. It's just a lot of stuff that tries to come in, and it just want to make home. It just want to house. They want
Right.
to house. You know, just like when Jesus told demons to get out, and they went and got into the house.
Yes.
They need a home.
Yes.
So, but you don't want your house, this house that God gave you, you don't want to house the wrong thing.
Right.
So you got to serve some eviction notices.
And you know, and even on that note right there, as you remember, there's another story that talked about that, is about when they come out, but if you don't replace it with something, if you don't replace it, if even when they come out, they will come back 7 times. If you think like, oh, I just got that thing out, I just got that thing out. But if you're not replacing that emptiness with anything, if you're not filling it up with the Spirit, if you're not filling it up with the Word, if you're not filling it up with worship, if your relationship is not getting any stronger, then you gonna leave that. It's just the old empty lot that you done clean something out of. You know how, you know what they call them, squatters. So they go around looking like, oh, look at there, ain't nothing up in there. We can go take root up in there, and this time we can bring some more of our friends. And those are the things that happen. Those are the things that happen when you don't replace your what you just said. Your purpose gets tarnished because you're trying to maneuver around this thing, and you can't. God says, you shall have no other God before me. You don't have, you can't play house over here and oh, I can work this thing right here. I can be a little bit, have this kind of spirit over here, but I can still worship over here. I can still do this over here. He said, you shall have no other before me. You can't be lukewarm. Baby, be hot or be cold. But don't be trying to ride the fence. When you get tired, of being sick and tired,
when you get tired of seeing the carnage and the damage that you're doing to yourself and to others, when you get tired of beating your head against the wall, when you get tired of being in that tomb, when you get tired and mentally tired, emotionally tired, spiritually tired of being in it, at that point, when you can submit, you say, take this thing out of me. Take this out of me. Take this anger that's in me, that this rage that I feel when the door slams, this rage that I feel when somebody sets a plate down on the table, this thing, as you said, this thing that triggers this other thing, that triggers this other thing, that triggers this thing. When you get tired of the triggers and you make the choice, to go and surrender. You make the choice to say, God, not my will, but your will. Easy? Not at all. Worth it? Most definitely. Will there be some things that will shift in your life? Most definitely. Will be some, as no different than that fella. You saw what happened to him after he brought the legions and the demons out, after he brought the unclean spirit out. Do you not know that some people are around you because they're comfortable with your uncleanness? They are very comfortable with your uncleanness. They're very comfortable with you being in the state that you in. But as soon as, no different than him, as soon as God has transformed your life, brought that thing out of you, and now you are a reflection of him. Oh, baby, let me tell you, that's when people will look at you a little different. That's when people don't really want to be around you like they used to. That's when you become the true outcast. But walk in your purpose. Walk in the image of what God has created you to be. Walk it. Walk it. Be everything that he's called you to be. Get that out and replace that with him. Replace the anger, replace the jealousy, replace the lies, replace the deceit, replace it. But at some point, we have to realize that this is something that we have to take to him. We got to take it to him, and we got to lay it, and we got to give it to him. And we have to surrender. I keep saying the words, we have to surrender and submit. Surrender and submit. Surrender and submit. And when I tell you, oh, buddy, what a difference it is. What a difference it is. That's when you become new. That's when you become the new creature. That's when you become all that he's called you to be. That's when your life becomes anew. That's when your attitude changes. That's when your mindset changes. Some of us, most of us, all of us, man, got to do a mirror check. We have to do a mirror check. Again, everything that's on us is not because we put it on us. Again, sometimes it's because we've been around the sewer for so long, we get the stench of it on us. Not because we were in it, we were just around it. Sometimes we can be around some things for so long until it attaches to us. And what we have to do is get those things out. Get it out. Pull it out. God, take this thing. Get this thing up out of me. I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want to be it. I want to be the best that you want me to be. I want to be everything that you call me to be. I want to walk like you want me to walk, talk like you want me to talk, do what you want me to do. I surrender and I submit to your will, your way, and your purpose. Because you knew me before I was created in my mother's womb. You knew me. You gave me purpose. Man, God gave us purpose before we had life. He knew us before we were created. Before we were created, he created a purpose for us. Now all we have to do is make the choice to do whatever we need to do to fulfill the purpose that he created us for. God, not my will, but thy will. Surrender, submit. Man, how many of us have been that man at that tomb? How many of us are in a tomb? How many of us are screaming and yelling because we don't want this torment anymore? Some of us have been tormenting in silence. Some of us have been going through in silence. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to. All you got to do is just submit. All you got to do is just say, God, take this thing. As Lafonso said, show me. Show me me. Show me the things that within me. Create in me a clean heart. Show me me. Not worried about out there. Not talking about what they did to me. Show me me. See, because in the end, as Mama used to say, every tub got to sit on its own bottom. Every tub. Everybody's got to answer for themselves. There's not one person that's going to answer for me. There's not one person that can answer for me. I have to answer for myself, and each and every person has to answer for them own selves. Show me me. I want to be who you created me to be. I want to walk in the purpose that you created me for. Show me me. So I can be all that you call me to be. That's all it takes. That's all it took for that man. That's all it takes. Because again, there are some things that we have tried to fix. There are some things that we've tried to get over on our own. This battle is not ours, it's the Lord. And understand, this thing ain't flesh and blood. This is spiritual warfare. And we have to be in the right mindset to understand that. But also know this. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, the battle is already won. What we have to do is walk as victors. Show me me. Show me me. Country boy, mirror check. It's time for a mirror check. Well, look at here, y'all. I thank y'all once again. I thank my special guest for tuning in, for joining me tonight. Thank you so very much. I ask each and every one of y'all to pray for my co-host, Minister CJ. Just send up a prayer for the young man. CJ, I'm thinking about you, praying for you. And we will be, well, actually, I'll be back tomorrow. I forgot. It's been one of them weeks, ain't it? Wow. I will be back tomorrow. Thank you, Kingdom Purpose Radio, for allowing me this opportunity to come once more again. Mr. Vernon, I hope I do you proud. I hope I do you proud. Thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Thank you for your support. It is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I love y'all. I love each and every one of you. I say on each show every night. Walk in your purpose on purpose. I support you. I support the vision that God has given me. And understand this, these words that I say is that I love you. I love you. And I love you unconditionally. And there ain't nothing, absolutely positively nothing that you can do about it. Thank y'all so very much. I will be back tomorrow night on my other show, my Worthless 2 Cents Table Talk. So y'all get to tune in. I have a country guest coming tomorrow night. So look here, I love y'all. I love you. Thank you so very much. Y'all have a good one. It's time to go to bed now. You hear? All right.